Texas is the biggest battleground state.
And in 2020,
we have the opportunity
to turn our state blue
up and down the ballot.
We have the opportunity to expand access to affordable health care, finance our public schools, strengthen our economy, and take meaningful action on gun violence. There's so much more in the United States Senate.
We have the opportunity to pave the way towards a more sustainable future at the Texas Railroad Commission.
We have the opportunity
to elect judges
and the justices
who will restore fairness, equality,
and balance in our courts.
We have the opportunity
to shape the political future of Texas
and repair the broken systems
that disenfranchise working families in our great state.
We have the opportunity to ensure that Texans in positions of power
embrace empathy,
open minds,
and swing open the doors of possibility.
By working together
and uniting behind our shared vision of a more inclusive world,
we will win back our state.
We will win because we have to.
We have to put an end to the hate, the lack of access, and the suffering.
We have to deliver on the fair shot that every Texan deserves.
Our cause,
our movement,
is about the restoration of justice and the expansion of opportunity.
None of this can be accomplished unless we work together.
In order to bring lasting change to Texas,
we must work alongside every down-ballot candidate, every activist, and every Texas Democrat
to continue building the largest democratic movement our state has ever seen.
We're asking you to be a part of this historic fight.
Together, we will create a Texas that we can all believe and thrive in.
Together, we will save Texas and in turn, save the entire country.
Join us.
Join us.
Texas is the biggest battleground state in the country. Our Democratic Party is building a future that is focused in equality and prosperity.
Our mission is innovative, inclusive, and hopeful. We are creating a Texas that we can all believe and thrive in.
Some of the boldest Democrats to navigate the halls of Congress have called Texas home, and some of them have even made their mark on the White House.
Texas produces progressives, trailblazers, and steady-handed leaders alike who consistently push the needle on issue after issue.
Our leaders champion the noblest of causes because we believe that our country is stronger when we celebrate diversity, live our values, and inspire unity.
Texas Democrats have built a movement founded on landmark policies and programs that make America one of a kind.
We safeguard our planet and fight for equal rights. We deliver on building an economy that works for all Texans. We defend a woman's right to choose, and we challenge the inhumane policies that set to tear our country apart.
While Texas Democrats may differ in their approaches, each one of them has fought like hell to change the course of history and leave our state that much more equitable.
We are the party that paves the way for the future because we cannot advance as a society until everyone has a seat at the table. Donald Trump can't win the White House without Texas, and we've got a plan to defeat him.
We know that the strength and resilience of our movement means that we can overcome any challenge set before us.
We know that we will succeed because what we are fighting for is humane, it is just, and it is truthful.
Every day, little by little, our movement grows and our chants for justice ring louder.
We are shaping the political future of our state and ensuring that everyone has a fair shot at the American dream.
This is what it means to be a Texas Democrat. Because when we save Texas, we save our democracy.
And when we save our country, we save the world.
So excited to have you all back here. We got another amazing guest today. She's going to tell us all about her plan going forward. We're going to learn about who she's fighting for, why she's fighting, and also just get some fun facts at the end. And it's Friday afternoon, so it's a great day.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing, Julie?
I'm about to have to break up a cat fight, the second cat fight of the day. I have way too many cats in my house.
You know, if you listen close enough, there's a cat meowing in a locked room right now because she is obsessed with my phone stand and thinks it's fun to play with while I'm trying to talk to her.
Okay, I just threw water like this. That's a way to break up a cat fight. Just a little bit of water, sprinkle.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on today, Julie.
Thank you.
Everybody doesn't know, you're running for Texas Congressional District 25. You're going to bring a lot to DC. You're fighting for Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, a pathway to citizenship, and an economy that actually works for everybody. And I'm so excited to learn a little bit more about you. And then I got some a fun quiz at the end.
Yay! Oh, I'm so excited about this. Thank you.
Good.
Happy Friday!
I know. I feel like this week has been a long one for a lot of reasons. Yeah.
Every week feels like a long one. I think it's just for the past, almost 4 years, every week has felt like a long one. I don't know why.
You've been pretty busy, I would say, in the last 4 years.
I think it's just what we're living through and who, is that living in the White House, but we have such an incredible opportunity to change that November 3rd. So I think that's what makes these days and these weeks very long.
I hear you. All right, so we want to learn a little bit more about you. And actually, I'm glad you already brought up the cats. Because either 3 or 4 cats living with you. I can't quite figure it out for you. There's 5 now?
5, yeah.
They're just multiplying. And then you also have a dog, right?
I have a dog as well, yes. It's so funny because my youngest child went with the dog to go visit grandparents in Houston today. So it's like I got a free weekend away from the 2 smallest of the kids. I should say the youngest of kids. But no, the cats are still here. They're still fighting. Now, I ended up with 5 cats. I had 3 cats. Let me just say, I had 1 cat. He was the best cat. He is the best cat, Trevor. And I ended up adopting 2 cats from an old person who passed away when he was 95. He had these cats 10 years. My heart nearly broke when I found out that they were going to have to go to the shelter. So I adopted them. And then about a year ago, my 22-year-old daughter moved into a garage apartment behind us with her 2 cats. And she's got a cat door, and it's an enclosure that connects her garage apartment to the main house. And they just come over here. They come over here, eat the cat food, they fight, and then they go back and sleep blissfully.
It sounds like it's the place to be. It sounds like cat heaven up there.
It is cat heaven.
Well, I'm glad you brought your daughter because I actually also have some questions about your childhood.
Okay.
I understood that your dad owned a pawn shop.
Yes.
And I was wondering if there's any story that really sticks out or any item that really you can't not believe that it showed up.
Honestly, what I remember most about, my dad is the one that I would have to, my parents split up when I was really young, but when I got sick at school, I couldn't stay at home. There was no parent, so I'd have to go to the pawn shop and spend my sick days in my dad's pawn shop, in an office in the back with the guns. Like they have guns at pawn shops. So it was a little disconcerting. But the one thing I remember, it's one thing I wanted from his pawn shop that he would not give me. It was a real human skeleton. And I don't know why I wanted it, but I was fascinated with it. It was like an antique, real human skeleton, you know, hung up on like one of those little things. I guess it was from a medical school way back when, but I loved it. And I cried. I was just, please let me have the skeleton, please. He wouldn't. Nope.
Never got it, huh?
I never got the skeleton.
Just think, you'd be perfect for the season right now. I mean, a little creepy to have a new one.
Yeah.
But
I just tell the kids when they come up, this is from the last kid trick-or-treaters who came to our house. Yeah.
That's so fun. Well, and then also, so right now you have a middle schooler living with you as your daughter. How is it, you know, being in a middle school classroom virtually a lot recently?
Here's what I hear all the time. Mom, you're being way too loud. I'm in school. And then she comes and closes my door to my bedroom so that she doesn't have to hear me through her lessons as I have my Zoom calls all day. She is totally a tween. I mean, my goodness, tween through and through. So I would say it's a fun challenge. You know, fun.
Yeah, it sounds, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too sad right now that I don't have any children that are going to school. You know, I think I can wait a little bit, make sure we get back into school before I have to compete Zoom call with.
Well, it's funny. We have not sent her back. She goes to AISD. We have not sent her back to school, so she's doing everything virtually. But I think if she could stay in her room for the next 4 years, I think she would. She's such an introvert. She cracks me up. I always tell her, I said, you can't watch this movie yet because you're only 12. But there's a scene in a movie, a John Hughes movie, 16 Candles, where this kid is getting shoved into a dance, like the gymnasium where there is a dance, school dance, by his parents. And they're like, we'll pick you up later. He goes, I just want to be with you. And I feel like that's, aside from her not wanting to hear me, I think that's what she would be perfectly content with, just staying here for the rest of her life.
Oh, that's so fun. Well, so I also wanted to talk to you actually a little bit about TV and movies as well. So your background is very strong in the medical field, doing like different. And so I'm wondering if you ever watched the medical shows like Grey's Anatomy or Scrubs, or do you just have to stay away from it?
You know, okay, so I want to say that they were on maybe when I mean, I have this, seriously, I have like a musical and TV black hole in my history. And it kind of came from when I was pregnant as a, you know, every year of law school and being a young mom. But I truly have this like musical black hole and TV black hole. I didn't watch them, so I don't know if they're real. And all I can remember before that is like General Hospital, which, yes, totally real. Totally real. No, General Hospital was a soap opera.
I'm using both, right? I know you go to ACL and stuff, and you're always posting about different artists. Are you pretty up to date, or are you sticking to your like 80s that you love?
I do love 80s. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Can't help it. I love it. But it's I see somebody who joined named Nicoletta 231. My oldest daughter's name is Nicolette. So I just saw that. Like, I love your name. I do love. Okay, so I kind of have this 80s like time period. Very early 90s, you know, I do remember the Spice Girls and stuff. And then there's kind of this musical black hole from like about 1993 or 1994 through 2000. Then it kind of picks up again in about 2003, 2004. And then I would say since I've run, I'm back in a musical black hole.
I saw that you went to Taylor Swift a couple of years ago. Yes. Were you expecting that album, or were you really caught off guard like the rest of us?
Caught off guard. I was not expecting that.
I feel like she really updid us. Like, we're all like, oh, trying to get through stuff. And Taylor's like, well, I didn't think I was going to write a whole album. But, you know, I was in my room long enough. I figured I might as well just push one out.
I adore Taylor, by the way. My youngest one and I disagree on her. I adore Taylor Swift. I think she's amazing. So anything she does, I kind of feel is like liquid gold. And she's just, I feel like she's a strong and powerful role model as well for females. So really good.
And she just endorsed Joe Biden. So
good for her. See, and she's courageous as well. I love that about her. She doesn't care. Like,
Yeah, you got to go check out her cookie post. She just made Joe Biden cookies and posted about it. So.
oh my God, she's so precious. And she has a cat. She loves cats too. I feel like we're kindred
Julie,
spirits.
A little quiet on my end.
Okay, let me get a little. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're just a little kind of quiet.
That's funny because you sound quiet on my end, but that's okay. I wonder if I have a mic. I wonder if that will work somewhere. It's okay. If I talk, can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, good.
It's just kind of quiet, but we're good. We'll be all right.
I'll just, how is this? Is this good?
Yeah, this is all right, well, so I do want to kind of switch gears into a little bit more. I want to start with, I'm really impressed that you haven't taken any PAC money and you really have been fully ran by the people. What do you think that has given you opportunity to do compared to if you were going to be taking it?
Well, honestly, I think it gives me a tremendous amount of independence and even the independence to say I'm going to do what's right by people and not by special interests. It even gives me, the independence to stand up to the Republican Party establishment if I have to. For Republican Party, yes, for sure. Democratic Party establishment, both establishments. But the reality is, I truly believe that we need campaign finance. Just send them to voicemail. We need campaign finance reform. And when Beto ran, I'm going to be fully transparent. I was so inspired by his run. He did the same thing. He didn't take any PAC money. He showed that it could be done, that you really could be a campaign of the people. And so we made that same commitment. And I was like, well, gosh, if Beto can do it, I can do it. And, I'm not having to run. He had to run the statewide race. I'm just running in 13 counties. And, for a lot of people, running for office isn't even a reality because of the financial barriers to get into this. Mm-hmm. So I have an idea. I call it tax corporate PACs, to revoke corporate PACs tax exempt status so that they start paying taxes on the contributions they receive. Because we know if a corporate PAC is playing in the political space, it's to fatten their bottom line, which is a taxable activity. So taxing corporate PACs and taxing them onerously, tax them like 90%, so that for every $10,000 contribution into a PAC, maybe $1,000 goes to its intended recipient. The other $9,000 goes to a fund for publicly financed campaigns, so that barrier to entry is broken down and we can have more teachers. Jamal Bowman shouldn't be the only teacher in Congress. We should have more teachers. We should have more musicians. We should have artists. We should have firefighters. You name it. We should have grocery store workers. People with very lived experiences in their communities should be serving us in Congress. And I still, to this day, I'm so impressed with what Representative Ocasio-Cortez has done. She has shown that you can have a working class background, a very working class background, and serve your community and your constituents well and be their voice. And she wasn't groomed for it. It wasn't, somebody from the party didn't come and pick her and say, hey, you're going to be the one that runs and we are going to put all of our resources into you. No, she did it and it resonated with the people. And that's what I hope to do in my district, that they know that I am here for them.
I think that's something I really love about your campaign and how you're running. You have a plan for everything and it's thought out. It's really reasonable, I think. And I just love that about your website. I see your interviews. Your answers are so realistic and also really are thinking about everybody in Texas and not just this elite group that is able to run for campaigns and be representatives. You're so right. We need more grocery workers, teachers in office so they actually can explain their backgrounds and give needs they actually need. So,
yeah,
I love that.
Thank you.
And then I also want to talk about your background and how that is going to go into what you're going to be able to bring to DC with your Medicaid background and that. Could you go into a little bit details of what you've done and what you really want to see changed when you get to Congress?
Yes, I am happy to share. I'm going to share. We're going to go back in the time machine. We're going to travel to, man, we're going to go blow past the 80s and go back to the 70s. That's when I was born. Now, I was born in a really, really poor family. My mom and my dad split up when I was 5 years old. So my mom was a single mom raising 4 kiddos on a school teacher's salary. She would have been a specials teacher by today's standards. She taught music in public schools. And she did the best she could, but it was a struggle for her to make ends meet. And I remember she cleaned houses on weekends. I would go with her. I'd vacuum, and while she did, kitchens and bathrooms, I would vacuum. We'd change out bed sheets together. I remember when I was 15, I couldn't wait to get a job because I wanted to have spending money. I didn't have that before. And when I was 17 years old, I actually got really angry with my mom and I ran away from home. Dropped out of high school to run away from home. And I was gone for several months and eventually I got pregnant and went back home. And I'm so grateful. My mom didn't turn me away. She took me back in, but said, Julie, you have to go back to school. And school is a very important part of your, who you are and what you will become. If you're not educated, you won't have a shot. So I went back to high school, gave birth to my daughter a week before graduation. I was a Medicaid mom at the age of 17. My Medicaid benefits ran out on my 18th birthday. So that's what we do to women in Texas. Once they give birth, you have 60 days to stay on Medicaid, and then your Medicaid benefits, your health care is shut off. And so it coincided, 60 days coincided with my 18th birthday. It was a double whammy for me. And then we were uninsured for years. So I know what that's like. I mean, and I'll tell you, I'll be really honest. I was uninsured at the end of 2018 after the election because I had left my job in corporate America to run. We didn't have insurance as a family. And that is one of the scariest places to be. And I hadn't been there in so long. But I'm grateful that story as a 17-year-old teen mom isn't the end of my story. It certainly isn't the end of my daughter's story. She's now 30 and she just graduated with her doctorate. Super duper proud of her. I was able to go to college, and y'all, the federal government paid for my college. We talked today about paying, public tuition, higher education tuition for people, canceling student debt, and how could we possibly do that? We did it. We did it. We did it for me. We should do it for all young people. I mean, we should be setting y'all off on the right foot, not saddled with thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. So it can be done. We have to have the political will to do it. And there's certainly some things that we can prioritize so that we can pay for this. But it is definitely the best investment in our future is paying for the education of folks going to college and trade school. Trade school is another fabulous opportunity for people to get a high-paying, skilled labor position, union job. I am totally 100% in favor of that. So I look at this as, hey, we had political will, in the early 90s under the Clinton administration to do this. Well, why can't we do it now? Because corporations are going to, pay more in taxes. Great. Make them pay for the privilege. It is a privilege to do business in the United States. It is a privilege for corporations to have their assets protected by the U.S. government, that nobody's going to come in and seize them. So for that privilege, pay your taxes and be proud of paying those taxes. Consider it a patriotic duty to pay your taxes, not get away with a $750 bill. I know college students who pay more than the president does in taxes. That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. That is unpatriotic to cheat us out of our tax revenue. It is unpatriotic, and that is exactly what the president has done.
I couldn't agree with you more. I don't think anybody was too surprised by the president's taxes coming out, but just so disappointing that we have proof that there's people that are barely making ends meet are paying more taxes than these people are owning property all over the world.
Right.
And it is patriotic to pay your taxes. You get to pay for public schools. You get to pay for roads. You get to pay for social programs that actually help people at their list.
You know what you could also rise up. You know what else you could pay for?
And I just appreciate you sharing your story with us because, as you say, you're not the only one with this story. Yeah. There's so many people out there that just need a little bit of help, and we have the means to do it. We have corporations that are putting their share into it, and we've seen people like you fighting for this. That's why I'm so excited about your campaign.
Well, thank you. I'm excited about this too. And I know that I'm not alone in this. I know that this is not a one-woman job, that this has been collectively a team effort of thousands of people putting their time into this to change things. And I could not be more proud to stand and fight with the people who are in this to win this. And we are going to win this.
Absolutely. I got one more political question for you.
Okay.
So I do live in Austin, and I live 4 blocks away from the district line. So I'm in Wendy Davis's congressional district, but I can see your signs across the street. And so I want to talk a little bit about gerrymandering, everyone's favorite topic. So for everybody who doesn't know, could you explain what gerrymandering is and, all of its ins and outs?
Yes. Well, first of all, we will start with this. Gerrymandering is intentional. It is an intentional way of drawing congressional districts that disenfranchise a group of voters. Some of it is deemed unconstitutional gerrymandering. Some of it so far has not been deemed unconstitutional, like when they say partisan gerrymandering isn't unconstitutional, but what we can do at the federal level is legislate against partisan gerrymandering. But what it does is it takes a group of people and puts them into, well, let's just say that we're going to give a real life example. Austin has been gerrymandered or cut up into 6 congressional districts. It can't support 6, we don't have the population, I should say, to support 6 congressional districts. So they had to pull in a huge swath of rural Texas outside of Austin to blend with these districts so that you would have the right population size in each one of them. Prior to 2011, Congressman Lloyd Doggett was the Austin congressman. Before him, Congressman Jay Pickle was the congressman of Austin. So they took Austin, instead of having 1 congressional district, carved it into 6. So my district goes from even south of Austin all the way down to Wimberley up to nearly Fort Worth, the southern part of Tarrant County. You've got, Hayes County, Travis County. I got 13. Hayes, Travis, Burnett, Lampasas, Hamilton, Erath, Johnson, Tarrant, Bosque, Hill, Bell, Coryell, and I'm missing one. Well, it'll come to me, but that's it. I mean, we have 13 or parts of counties in our district, and it is ridiculous. So yes, the people who live in, East Austin, the people who live in Hamilton are put in the same congressional district. The people who live in, the suburbs of Austin, let's say Steiner Ranch, are put with the people who live in southern Fort Worth. How does that make sense? And it's intentional. So we have an opportunity next year to change that by electing, don't stop at the top, keep going down, elect your state house reps, because they will be drawing the lines next year. And we're so close to having a Democratic majority in the state house. We have 4 competitive state house seats in my district because my district is so long, 200 miles in length. So we have 4 competitive state house districts. So re-elect Aaron Zwiener, re-elect Vicki Goodwin, and then let's elect Kiki Williams and let's elect Joe Drago.
Absolutely. We gotta get Democrats up and down the ticket. You can't start, you gotta press D all the way down. The state house race is so important this year for Texas. It really is a chance that we can flip the state house and we can control actual good policy that's fair and equal and fair for Texans. And so I'm really pulling for all the state houses, no doubt.
Thank you. And I will mention, because I'm seeing the comments, people are talking about West Campus and Campus being in 2 different districts. So UT proper is in District 25, the district I'm running to represent and serve. West Campus, except for the 7-Eleven at 26th Street that's in West Campus, all of West Campus is in District 21, except for that 7-Eleven. I mean, that's how intentional they were. Surgical precision went right around the 7-Eleven. That is pulled into my district, even though my district's on the other side of the street. Everything else is in District 21, Wendy Davis's district. And I'm just going to go put it out there. It will be her district. It will be Wendy Davis's district.
Yep, you guys will both be there. It'll be exciting to have bordering districts. But that is crazy. There's one 7-Eleven that is literally cut out of the UT campus. Yep. It's just such a clear example how forceful and unjust this whole process can be when we have the wrong leadership, when we have people thinking about themselves, and we have people taking PAC money and things like that. So
we can do it. We can do this. We can make things right.
All right, so now we're going to our last section. It's going to be a quiz. I know one of your favorite holidays is coming up, which is Halloween. And so I have some true or false questions for you. And we're going to see how much you know your Halloween facts. So you ready?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right, first question. The word Halloween is derived from a combination of All Hallows Eve. True or false?
That is true.
That is true. It's from the Scottish language. It's All Hallows Eve.
Yep.
All right, next question. The first jack-o'-lanterns were made with turnip instead of pumpkins.
Ooh, I'm going to say false.
No, that's true.
Oh,
so pumpkins are from North America. And so back when it started over in Europe, they didn't have the pumpkin yet. So that was the original ones. And then
Oh my gosh.
the pumpkins later adopted.
I'm going to tell my husband you've got to carve a turnip this year, honey.
Yeah, you guys see what you
like tiny.
That's how the true Halloweeners do. Okay, the top day annually for candy sales is October 31st. True or false?
That is true, because I've seen the grocery stores. No?
It is false, actually.
No.
So the biggest day is actually the 28th. People can't wait all the way till the 31st. We actually, it's one of our holidays we've been planning for. But the 28th, 27th, 30th, and 31st are 4 of the top 5 days in candy sales.
Wow.
Every year.
It's so funny. On Halloween, I always see people at the grocery store stocking up on the Halloween candy. So the 28th, here's my theory on that. 28th, that's when people are buying candy for themselves and they run out, or they actually think they're going to have it for the kids. They run out because they eat it. Like my husband, he eats all of our Halloween and we have to go out and get it again.
I believe it. I'm like, because it's so hard not to eat the candy once you buy it. And you're like in the grocery, like, oh, pick it up now. But then it's out. You're like, I'll have one.
Oh my gosh, if we have Reese's peanut butter cups, oh my gosh, I'm like, I love them so much. Reese's peanut butter cups, my favorite.
You know what I'm obsessed with is the orange Halloween Oreos. And they're like tie-dyed orange, and they have like their like pictures of them.
Oh, I love them. Oh my gosh, I love them.
I just went through a sleeve like the last 2 days, but it's fine. Okay, next question. According to the survey conducted by the NCA, National Confections Association, at least 80% of parents eat some of their children's candy.
Yes, I will say yes, true.
It is true, and supposedly 23% of them don't tell their children about it. You sneak the candy away.
Well, that is a good parent. Have you ever seen the ire of a 5-year-old? No.
All right, the traditional jack-o'-lantern got its name from actually a man named Henry. True or false?
Ooh, oh my gosh. I'm going to go, because this is so way out there, I'm going to go with true.
No, it's false.
Oh, okay.
It was a man named Jack. And it comes from a legend of a man who supposedly had some interactions with the devil while he was alive. When he died, he tried to get into heaven, but was turned away at the gates. And then when he went down to hell, he was turned away at the gates again and given a pumpkin or a tune-up by the devil. And then a piece of coal that was placed in there, and that was his lantern that he now carries around supposedly every Halloween.
Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to read about that. That's fascinating. That's a good one to scare kids with.
Originally, trick-or-treating was called house baking. True or false?
What was it called? What did you say?
House baking.
House baking. I'm going to... God, no, that's got to be wrong. No, false. I should say true.
It's true.
Dadgummit.
Trick-or-treat started getting popular in the 1950s, but back in the couple days when it started, it was more baking for food and other things. That's what they called it.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It was, probably before they started giving out like individually wrapped items. Remember, they always had those urban legends like, don't eat the baked goods, they're poisoned, or they have razors in them.
I actually, doing this research, I read all about the razors and got a little too deep into it, but it's all fake news.
I did look up that one once upon a time. That was all just old urban legends, the razors and apples and stuff.
All right, I got 2 more. Silly string is banned during Halloween in Hollywood, California, from October 31st, 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. November 1st. True or false?
Let's go ahead and say true. That seems weird enough that somebody might do an ordinance about it.
No substrate for the people in Hollywood, California that day. I guess
That's
just
weird.
got out of here.
Maybe too much cleanup.
All right, this is your last question. Halloween was banned during World War II.
Ooh, yes, maybe, yes, maybe, yeah. Oh, I'm
Side
thinking.
reasons are interesting. So
Okay.
false. It wasn't.
Okay.
But supposedly instead of candy, people were actually went around and gave household items like toilet paper and other needs to kids because it was such a time of trouble. I think that's such a fascinating, similarity to where we are right now.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Wow. I can't believe I did so poorly on that quiz. I clearly didn't.
I really wanted to say you won, but it was not your best show. But
It was not. No, I think I got the first answer.
When you brush up on your facts, and it's not the subject I'm most worried about you bringing to DC, because I know you got plenty of other expertise, and we need to get there. I'm so excited to see you win November 3rd. Do you have a voting plan?
I do have a voting plan. I am going to go vote. Hang on, I have to pull up my calendar. If y'all will let me look for a second. What is today? It's next week. I am going to go Friday morning, the 16th at 8 a.m. Friday, I know it's early, but my day gets really, really hectic. 8 a.m., Friday the 16th. And we're going to go to Carver Library in East Austin.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, I'll be looking for it on your Instagram. Sure.
I was going to try to do 7 a.m., but I was like, if anybody wanted to go vote with me, I know nobody's going to go. I mean, I'll get like maybe one person who's like, I love the morning time too. But everybody else is going to be like, oh my gosh, Julie, why 7 a.m.? But 8 a.m. on October 16th at Carver Library. It was Mrs. Peacock in the library with the candlestick. That's what the voting plan always reminds me of. It's cool. Thank you.
I love learning more about you. I think your campaign is fantastic. I can't wait to see you get there. Where can people find you? What's your website? Where can they donate? How can they make phone calls for you? Let's hear.
Oh, so my website is julieoliver.org. Somebody bought julieoliver.com, or else we'd be julieoliver.com. julieoliver.org. And Facebook is Julie for Texas, all spelled out. And then Facebook and Instagram is Julie Oliver TX. And you can donate. If you go to my website, right at the top, there's a big red button. You can donate there. And yes, campaign contributions are most appreciated, especially in this final push as we get our name out there and get voters to the polls. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your Friday afternoon with me. Thank y'all for sharing your Friday afternoon with me. And let's go win this.
Absolutely. Early vote starts next Tuesday, everybody. Everyone get to the polls, bring 5 friends, call everyone you know, your milkman, your deliverer, that guy from high school you haven't talked to in a while. Everybody's got to get out there. Vote for Dems all the way to that ticket. If you have any questions about voting, go to mytexasvotes.com. And also, you can call our hotline at 844-TX. Thank you so much again, Julie, and good luck on the last part of the campaign. See you again.
Thank you. Bye, y'all. Happy.